Hi, everybody. We have another guest with us today. We have Shashank Gupta with us today. So he is the founder of TailorMade Experiences, and he's into wedding planning and social and celebration events. He is a part of BNI Incredibles, which is a Gurgaon chapter. And so he's into launch parties, weddings, milestone celebrations, and he very recently also did wedding of Richa Chadda and Ali Faisal. So thank you so much for joining us today, Shashank. I would love to speak with you
Thank
today.
you. Thank you, Rutvij. Pleasure being here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Awesome. So why don't we start with listening about your journey of being in the event industry and also how you got into the wedding and the celebrations industry. I believe you started with the corporate events one and then you
Yeah.
transitioned into the celebrations one. So please walk us through the journey.
So the journey has been very different in terms of I did engineering in electrical, uh, but sometime during the sixth, seventh semester, I realized that this is not something that I'm really having fun with. So I tried convincing my parents that I want to do an MBA in event management because that was something that was very creative and I could resonate a lot with it. So I found out this college in Bombay and I applied for it. I got through. I did the course there in event management and public relations. I was picked up by a company. I worked there for a couple of years, 3 years. Then obviously I had always envisioned in my mind that I'll have something of my own. So one day I just quit and I started a company, which was the first company that I had started. And it is a corporate events company, about 14 years old, and we're doing pretty decently. But after about 6, 7 years of its existence, it was just something that I wanted to do something different in the same sphere, but do something different. So we thought that we'll start a wedding planning agency, and it gave me a chance to change my skill set and explore something new. Hence, TailorMade Experiences was born. What we try to do with TailorMade Experiences, as the name suggests, any and every project for us is different, bespoke. So we try and understand who we are planning the celebration for, and every part, every aspect of the entire 2 day, 3 day celebration has to resonate with their personality. So if I were to do something for Rutvij, for whenever you get married, I will understand what you are as a person, who you're getting married to is as a person, maybe the families, and every touch point for your guests and for your family will be an experience which will be curated for you. It will be tailor-made for you. That is what we do. And obviously in our industry, it comes with its own set of madness. So because of our experience of working with corporates for years, we've kind of given a method to the madness, and there's a very strong process led approach that we take to every project.
Right.
That's about what we do.
Great. Great. Awesome. So I believe event is a very competitive space. There are so many players, so many big players in the market. So how do you define your niche? How do you differentiate yourself from the rest of the market? How do you, whenever you're approaching some client, what is the kind of pitch that you give to them?
See, yes, I agree with you. It's a extremely cutthroat market, but one needs to not always try and kind of undersell themselves to get a project. Your work, your creativity has to speak in itself. It is an extremely creative field. If you can crack how you can kind of build things around people, it's a people intensive business. People are working in it to create experiences for people only. So if they can kind of resonate with whatever is being done, that wins us the pitch. So when we go to a family, our pitch is never in terms of money.
Hmm.
Our pitch always is that let us understand you, let us understand what you need, what your aspirations are, and then create and curate the entire sphere around. So that in my head, even if it's a destination, we recently did a wedding last year. That girl, when she was a kid, she had come to India from US, and she had stayed at a palace in Jaipur, and she had told her dad that I want to someday get married in this palace only. So her dad actually had approached us and said, "Ki, I remember this girl, this being told to me by my daughter, and can you make it happen?" And they were sitting in US, and it was peak COVID. So how we went there, how we used to do video calls and show them each and every space of the palace, everything was made for them inside the palace, whether it was getting people from Coimbatore to do the catering because it was a South Indian wedding. Everything was curated and tailor-made for them. So that is what wins the pitch. And obviously, when you talk to people and they understand you have a very professional approach towards everything, that helps us get more leverage.
Lovely, lovely. Great. So, why don't you walk us through the entire flow, entire journey of a wedding? Let's say you get a brief, then you actually deliver the event. What all happens between this?
So, if I were to say a comfortable timeline for planning a wedding, it should be about a year. We work on projects for about a year at least. So if I'm doing projects which are in February next year, I must have started working on them since January. What happens is people approach us, they say, okay, we've decided to get married. Firstly, can you help us with a set of dates which are auspicious? After that, they kind of tell us their preferences for destinations. So we go back one step, and the first thing that we ask them is, what is the type of money that you're planning to shell out? Because that is the biggest and the most important thing that one has to talk about while planning a wedding. Else what happens is, if you don't have a budget in mind, it is a bottomless pit, and our creativity has no bounds. I can sell you the moon, but that's not, if that's not what the pocket allows the person, it will not fly. So we ask them for the budget, then we start curating things as per the budgets and the aspiration. We always take a reverse timeline this thing. So if they've given us a number, we tell them that these 4 or 5 things are the most important that one has to do for a wedding. So kind of finalizing the destination, kind of finalizing the hotels, the rooms, the food, then comes the decor, the photography. So over a period of that 1 year, we first understand what they like. So for example, if I were to talk to you about wedding photography, there are so many genres and styles of wedding photography that people are doing in India. It is not funny. There are such creative teams in India which are doing great wedding photography. So one has to understand what is the type and the genre of photography that the bride and groom would like, and then we give them options as per their budget.
Could you please tell me a little bit more about the different genres of wedding photography?
So, for example, a lot of wedding photographers are doing very documentary type photography and videography. When I say documentary, they're very natural. They concentrate more on the subtleness of the bride and groom. So that is one genre. There are some who are doing really good portraits and capturing those candid moments. There are some people who really capture the grandeur of the wedding. So you kind of have to understand from the client and the bride and groom on what they would like. So we keep on giving them examples that this is what a documentary photography team works like. This is how it would look. So we understand what they are liking, and then we curate a list of possible vendors for them. This is the budget, and this is the city also. So I won't be suggesting a photography team from Chennai to a client who's getting married in Jaipur. The travel cost might just get too high. So that's how we start curating options for people, doing meetings with these guys, giving them briefs, making them meet the bride and groom. After that, we sit on the proposals sent by each and every set of vendors, and we kind of start negotiating for them. We close them. Once each and every vendor for each and every different element has been closed, then starts the real work on how every piece is tailor-made. So, for example, if a logo has to be made for a bride and groom, how it resonates with their personality, why the hashtag, everything has to have a resonance with the personalities of the family and the bride and groom.
Correct. So who all are involved in any given project? What kind of people, what kind of team do you need to assemble to actually make a project work?
So primarily, TailorMade has a decent set of planners who are available in all three offices. When I say planners, these are people who've done events, who understand the lingo, who know the vendors, who can understand the personality of the client and can suggest them things. Once things are kind of stitched together over this entire 1 year or 6 months or 2 years of our planning, that is when the operations team starts coming in. When I say operations, then the real groundwork starts. That talking to the hotel, we kind of make a timeline of all the setups, the technical setups, the checks. So there are various checkpoints each and every team has, which are done before the event. So we have planners, we have operations and production teams, we have on-ground teams also who are runners, and obviously there's a strong accounts team. So this is what constitutes the TailorMade team.
Okay, got it. Now, I'm sure, so you are also into launch parties, right? So I am sure a part of this would also overlap with the launch parties also. But what are the few things that are different when it comes to maybe a launch party or some other kind of celebration event?
So when it's so launches are also of two types. If it's a launch event, it will go to the corporate events team. That's a separate skill set.
Okay.
Because that has to resonate with the brand and the guidelines of the brand. But when it's a launch party or a success party or a milestone party, even if it's for a brand, one has to understand what that milestone is and how to kind of curate each and everything. So let's say if it's a 50-year celebration. So 50 is always associated with gold. And if it's a brand which doesn't want to do too much blingy things, so how do you kind of like from the invite stage to the actual event, how do you piece everything together? This is how the launch party or any milestone celebration will be pieced together. So like last year, we did someone's 40th birthday. Now that was a milestone celebration and it was a complete surprise. So the girl didn't know that her husband is planning everything, and it was a 3-day celebration, which was also spanning 2 cities, Delhi and Jaipur. Yeah, so it was crazy. But every aspect, every touch point, every place had something or the other to do with the birthday girl or her liking. Everything was pieced like that. If her favorite color was lavender, things were done. Whether it was the drink colors that was served to people which were in lavender color, we did all these type of things.
Correct. No, I'm very curious to hear about a few crazy experiences, some very challenging events, which had a very memorable sort of an impact on you. Please tell me about.
So every event has challenges. It's almost like the Murphy's Law. Yeah. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, and our lives are full of only firefighting. But because if you have planned things better, you can kind of foresee certain things which can go wrong, and you can plan ahead. So if I were to tell you about crazy experiences when we were doing Richa and Ali's wedding, it was 3 cities, and it had a lot of press. It had a lot of different things. There were a lot of brands involved. There were a lot of kind of set of rules which one had to follow. There could be no photo leaks. So it was a challenge in itself because it was a full set of people moving from one city to go to another city, do an event, go to the third city, do an event. And at the same time, we had to talk to PR agencies, we had to talk to brands, we had to talk to vendors, we had to talk to both of them who were also doing other things as well.
Right.
And that was a very, very crazy experience. We learned a lot. We had a lot of fun. They're both very, very good people.
Yeah.
Another challenge, we recently did a really beautiful wedding in Kashmir. So Kashmir as a destination has not been explored that much for destination weddings. And we did a very, very big wedding. It was a movement of almost 350 people from Bombay. But because Kashmir doesn't have such a big infrastructure in terms of wedding equipments or technicals, or even food for that matter, because Indian weddings require a lot of food. Every point you have to stuff guests with food. That's the most important point. So, and this family was very particular that they've traveled the world and they wanted to kind of create really good culinary experiences. So the support staff, whether it was event staff, whether it was hospitality, decor, technical, food, artists, that was a challenge in itself. Just managing the logistics of these people plus the guests, plus at a place which uh, is not so friendly because of whatever reasons, and also the G20 summit was supposed to happen right after 10 days of the wedding. So the security was really pumped up. And it was pouring like, I can't tell you, it was so cold. So that was really challenging. It was almost like day in, day out, every hour, you're just kind of fighting a battle and trying to solve things.
Lovely. This is, I mean, someday I might end up end up getting into this industry just for understanding all the chaos and every challenge that you're mentioning about. All right. So what I also hear about is that there are many people involved, many vendors involved when it comes to bringing an event to a conclusion. So how do you go about, building successful partnerships with these vendors? What kind of core competencies you've decided that these are the few things that we will take care of, and then these are a few things which we will have other vendors to take care of. So how do you go about doing it?
So the buck stops at us. The client doesn't care if the vendor kind of goofs up. The buck stops at us. We are the ultimate responsibility towards the client, right? Over a period of time, we've understood these are specific set of qualities and ways in which this specific vendor can deliver, or these guys can't deliver. So when we start kind of understanding what the client needs, is how we start giving them options. Over a period of time, we've understood that these are the guys who will be comfortable with us. When I say comfortable, see, they are not your vendors. They are your partners in curating that entire experience. So if you start treating them as partners and kind of not bossing them around, but almost like finding a way to work together to create something magical, is when good partnerships and collaborations work. And you are at BNI. BNI is a perfect example of that. Collaborations, and there are so many success stories at BNI about collaboration. So that's what we do. We find the right set of people. We understand that there are partners. We treat them like that, and they treat us like that. So there are a lot of people, a lot of partners for us who we've personally asked for favors, and they've been more than willing and happy to oblige us with a lot of things during an event.
Wow.
So it's just over a period of time that you develop these friendships, these collaborations, these partnerships. But that's the most important part of our business, because at the end of the day, when we sell a dream to a client, we are not kind of executing it. It is these partners who are executing it. And we have to believe in them to ensure that they deliver more than what we've promised.
Right. Right. Acha, but I also believe that since you work uh, at multiple locations, right? So, and not every time it's possible that the vendors or the partners that you've already worked with would be able to actually cater to a certain event at a certain location, right? So, I am assuming that there would be multiple instances where you would have to invite and onboard new partners for
Absolutely.
location. So how do you
Absolutely.
go about evaluating new partners? How do you go about onboarding them?
So because we've been in the system for such a long time, we
Mhm.
know people and we know networks in the event industry who we can ask for introductions. And see, today we are living in a very digital age, right? Instagram, Google, you get to know about newer vendors, and obviously someone or the other in the event industry would have worked with them. So there are various platforms that we are members of where we can kind of check for references for people. And obviously, we tell the client sometimes that this is a guy we've not worked with. We will do our reference check. We will go and meet them. If we are comfortable, we will tell you yes, we can work with them. Else, we suggest that let's take this person from the nearest city that who's worked with us, and let's just pay for the travel and stay and whatever. So, like Kashmir is a very classic example of this. We had not done too much work there. So, the caterer came from Ludhiana. The decor team actually traveled from Bombay. The technical team traveled from Chandigarh. The hospitality team traveled from Delhi.
Hmm.
So, you can imagine the Panditji came from London.
Acha. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. Great. So you also mentioned about a couple of softwares technology that you use, right? And I'm sure in the past few years there must have been a good surge in the kind of technology that has come in assisting you with events, right? So are there any good softwares tools that you use on a regular basis? Maybe when it comes to coordinating with your partners, with your team, or maybe with the clients, with the grooms and the brides?
So the most widely used software is obviously Zoom and Google Meet, because if you are not in the base city where the client is or the vendor is, you need to constantly keep on doing a lot of meetings. So that is the most used this thing. Plus, we also have kind of started using software known as Airtable, which kind of helps us maintain a real-time timeline and a list of tasks that both sides have to do, whether it's us and the partners or the client. So when I say the client, when we've sent options to people or to the clients, they need to choose or give us their feedback. So everything has a timeline to it, that this is by this time we'll send you the options, and please try and give us a feedback, or if you like it or don't like it by this time. So that Airtable is very, very important for us. We use a lot of Google Tasks also. We use Google Sheets also. So primarily, these three softwares are something that we've been using extensively. And what we've also done is using various things in the Airtable. We've kind of curated these questionnaires and things with which we understand the personalities and the aspirations or the wants of the bride. They kind of help us create those funnels in which each and every element, the options of vendors, the partners, the destinations, the kind of experiences, the entertainment can be almost like thought about, and then we present what should be the entire event piece.
Got it. Got it. Now, you transitioned from corporate events organization to a wedding events organization, right? So, you've though you had some background in events, I am sure there were multiple learning curves when you transitioned from there to here, right? So, what were a couple of those insights that you gained?
So when one does a corporate event,
Hmm.
like a corporate job, a lot of things are uh, kind of in a process.
Hmm.
You need to, there are checkpoints which one has to do.
Hmm.
Uh, while that the Murphy's law is true in corporate events also.
Hmm.
There are lots and lots of challenges every event has sleepless nights, but there still is a way and a method that one does. If you are doing a brand launch, there will be certain guidelines that you follow. There will be certain things that you will do, but and obviously it's coming out from the marketing budget of a brand. It's not someone's personal money. When you're doing a wedding, it's someone's personal money. It's someone's personal image on the line. And especially Indian weddings, people have a lot of egos also, and they have a kind of their image. For Indians, the most important milestone in their lives is their son or daughter getting married or them buying a house. So it's almost like them show. It's a show of power also in a lot of places. Frankly, Indian weddings are like that, but it's someone's personal money, like I said. So you have to be constantly available. In a corporate event life, we generally used to have Saturdays and Sundays. Here we don't have Saturdays, Sundays, because most of the families will be free to meet us on a Saturday or Sunday. Meetings go on for really long hours. But and there are various places where you actually kind of become like personal therapists to the family members also, because you're just imagine you're working like a family member for almost a year and trying to plan a celebration for the family. So you become a part of the family. They start sharing things with you. They start asking you for guidance. They start asking you for help. So it almost becomes like a family bond, and I'm very happy to say that almost all the people that we've done weddings for and planned weddings for, we are their extended families. I have clients who keep on calling us, who keep on asking us how we are doing, keep on meeting us for a drink. So that in my head is our biggest achievement. Those are the type of bonds I really cherish.
Lovely, lovely. Acha, so if you were to give an advice, give a couple of advices to somebody who's just starting out in the wedding events industry, or maybe some advice that you might want to give to yourself when you were starting out, what would those advices be?
See, I would say there has been in the last so many years now, what we've also realized that the new set of people who are coming in for events, they always think that events is a very glamorous space. And when we were also kids, when we were doing our course and we wanted to join this industry, the glamour is something that attracts you. That we'll be able to do fashion shows, we'll be able to meet Bollywood celebrities, we'll be able to attend parties. It's not like that. You will do good work, you will have fun, you will do meet a lot of people, but that's not what should kind of inspire you. The inspiration should always be that what you plan, what you sell as a dream, whether it's a corporate event, whether it's a wedding, you're selling a dream. You're putting together a dream. It's not an actual product that you manufactured and shown to a client and you're selling that. You are actually selling a dream, and it's on paper, it's on computer, it's in your mind, it's in the process, it's in the planning, this thing. But when you see it getting executed in front of you, that is the high that will give you immense pleasure. So always have that one peg, that whatever you think and you plan and you dream, when you see it and you try and do better than that, that just gives us those goosebumps. Still now also, I've been working for what, 17, 18 years. Now also when I'm at an event setup and I see a design that we've thought of coming to life in front of us, it just gives me a lot of pride. All of us, we thrive on that high.
Wow. I am feeling that high just by imagining you thought of something and then you see it in a very physical form. So that's lovely.
You should definitely come someday and attend an event that we do. You'll understand.
You should invite me sometime. No, but you should get me involved in the process also. You invite me.
I will
get me involved in something, and then when the actual event happens, you should be, this is what has happened. So that would be very
for sure. For
Awesome.
sure, for sure.
So yeah, those were all the questions I had, Shashank, for you. I loved all your answers. I'm sure anybody who's thinking about starting their venture in this business, they would find this podcast very.
I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy to meet people, even if they're starting an event agency or a wedding agency. I don't consider people as competition. I always consider that there will be some way or the other our paths might cross. We might pitch together. We might kind of like pitch against each other, but there's always scope to grow and learn. So if anyone wants any help from me in terms of trying to understand how can can they start an event business, more than happy to help.
Lovely. And I think this is what I love the most about the BNI community is everybody is willing to share all the knowledge, all the information
Absolutely.
so freely. And I really absolutely love
No,
uh,
so in the last 3 months of my journey in BNI, I've just joined 3 months back.
Acha.
I met so many people from the event space also
Hmm.
who are trying to help you. So there are so many people I've met and made friends of. They've introduced me to so many new vendors or partners, and they've said you can work with these guys. You will be getting a good this thing. So it's not always about fighting with each other for things or for a project, but it's how you can grow together. That is what BNI is, and I really love going to the meetings. The energy on every Thursday morning, it's just insane.
So do I. So do I. Um, all right. All right. On that note, I think uh, we can conclude this podcast. Loved speaking with you, and I'm sure everybody's going to love listening to this podcast. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity.